all ready to go now. Just started up the aircraft, so thank you to Prestwick Aviation Services. I've got my clearance, is to Oxford, the Sudbury 1 Lima departure with Zulu 249 to Osmeg, climbing 6,000 feet and 633 is the squawk, and so I'll just make sure I've got all of that loaded up. So I've got the Sudbury 1 Lima departure, 6,000 feet is set. Frequency is going to be Prestwick, but I don't know yet, so I'll find that out. 990 is the QNH with information uniform, and just my little briefing. So I've got runway 12, 26, 90 feet I need. I've got 9,800 feet here, and then my initial altitude is going to be 6,000 feet, and well, initial altitude is 6,000 feet. And I know that I'm on the instrument departure, so I've briefed that already. And if I have any problems on the ground, I'm going to close the throttle and stop. And then 600 and 2,000 feet on the rad out will be my parachute deployment altitudes if needed. And here also, I've just got a little reminder here as to what to do with my autopilot. So I've got set up takeoff on the auto throttle, takeoff which is wings level, with GPS for the instrument departure armed. Takeoff there is 7 degrees pitch up, also 10 degrees pitch up, and altitude select 6,000 feet with flight level change for the autopilot to do the climb. So that's all good, and I'm expecting to get a taxi shortly, and I'm going to come out of here and then probably taxi up to Kilo or Juliet for my departure. So I'll give them a shout and see what they say. November 806 Papa Mike, ready for taxi.
November 806 Papa Mike, runway 12, taxi holding point Juliet via taxiway Romeo.
Runway 12, taxi to holding point Juliet via Romeo, November 806 Papa Mike. Good, so I'm going to taxi out and prepare myself as I go along for departure. Keeping myself clear of the Herculeses, making sure I'm following the yellow line as I go out, keeping a good look on the wingtips. And I'll continue the taxi up towards Juliet. With the centre line going between my legs, just keeps the nose wheel just to the right of the centre line, then it stops it going over the little lights, bumping and making lots of noises. Ryanair base here as well at Prestwick, quite a few diversions over the last day or so, and this came in just after I landed, so Ukrainian Antonov. I'll keep on taxiing, get myself airborne, and start heading south towards Oxford. Weather's still looking good down there so far. Out of Prestwick, just climbing up into the clouds. There's quite a lot of weather, so it'll be lower level weather between me and Oxford, sort of in the Midlands, Manchester, Liverpool, and just north of Birmingham as well, but should be able to get above this cloud. So -3 degrees,
Ryanair 450
passing 6,000 feet.
123.775. 123.775, Ryanair 450.
Make sure the aircraft doesn't level off because of the constraints on the instrument departure. And we return now, climbing flight level 150.
189 Cirrus, thanks, climb now, flight level 250.
Got the engine IPS on as well, just here, as I climb up through this cloud, protecting the engine with the bleed going into the D-ring.
November 6 Papa Mike, route direct Subuk.
Direct Subuk, November 6 Papa Mike. There's Subuk, direct to, into there, activate it, Subuk there, GPS, and we're going en route. That's it, so selected it, see it, do it. Great. Downloaded some Connects weather. You can see there a bit of a mixed sort of ice and snow and rain, and there in this sort of pinky colour. And a little bit further down is some rain. I'm sort of climbing up above all of that now, and so if I have a look further down, great thing here on the, you can push the button here to pan. Got a little bit of a touchpad which you can use like an iPad, and I can just zoom that in like that, and then scroll down with my finger down towards the Oxford area. Let's go to about there-ish, and I can zoom back in again. Let's go up a little bit, zoom in a little bit. And there you go, a little bit of weather around there, but generally sort of Oxford is looking pretty good down that sort of area. I can have a look on here as well. Put this little on the flag, the Oxford weather's not working at the moment, but there I can see Benson nearby, all the nines, a little bit light rain, overcast, 700 feet, 12 degrees. And I've spoken to Oxford, they said the weather's pretty good there, so that's great. There you go, just climbing up, out through the clouds, no ice on the wings. A bit of focus, there you go, no ice on the wings, but that's looking good.
3 Golf Tango Scottish, thank you, climb now, flight level 250.
And as soon as I push that to stop the pan, it recenters the aircraft back to where I want it to be.
November 6 Papa Mike, contact Scottish on 135.530.
135.530, November 6 Papa Mike. Scottish, hello, November 806 Papa Mike, passing flight level 185 for flight level 250 and routing to Subak.
November 806 Papa Mike, Scottish, good afternoon to you, climb flight level 270.
Climb flight level 270, November 806 Papa Mike. Good.
EZ18 Victor Zulu,
that's what I wanted to do, there you go, 270, selected it, seen it, plane's doing it. Got a bit of cloud outside, I'm at flight level 270. We don't have the LOAs for this aircraft at the moment, so I can't go to flight level 310 or into RVSM. But here I've got the auto radar switched on as well, just to help me out to see if I'm going to get any sort of severe weather or CBs or anything as I'm flying along. There's a little bit of green stuff there in correspondence with that as well, so I'm just going to keep an eye on that as I get a little bit further south, just make sure I don't go right too much in towards the more severe weather that's out there. But using the auto radar then, just to check out what's going on in front of me while I go in and out of these little bits of cloud. Just up over the top of, or just the north of Liverpool, in and around the sort of Blackpool area, just to the north of Blackpool is sort of the area where I am at the moment. And underneath me, 27,000 feet underneath me, this is what it looks like from above the clouds, which is dumping all the snow on the northern part of England at the moment. So fortunately I'm up above it, and it's all down there.
Presently you're 25 miles from touchdown. If I turn you towards base leg, is that enough to lose all the altitude?
Yeah, I can increase my rate of descent to November 6 Papa Mike.
November 6 Papa Mike, Roger, fly heading 090 degrees, vectoring for the ILS approach, runway 19.
Roger, left under 090 degrees, vectors for the ILS 19, November 6 Papa Mike, and I'll increase my descent. Okay, left turn onto 090. I'll increase my rate of descent, and also what I'll do is I'll slow the aircraft down as well to 180 knots. That'll help. And so that's my first vector. So I'm going to come into here, procedure button, activate vectors to finals. There you go, final approach fixed leg is active. Inbound course is also active on there. And I've got my localizer displayed, just waiting for the Morse code ident. Glide path will come up shortly as well, but descending down to 4,000. Engine IPS is on, it's 2 degrees. We'll be descending down into some cloud.
Right, continue descent to altitude 2,500 feet, base leg, 20 miles from touchdown.
Descend 2,500 feet, November 6 Papa Mike. Okay, I'm just going to back off my rate of descent now. I can see there where I'm going to be at 2,500 feet, and it's a little bit earlier than I want it to be, really, and especially since I'm coming down into some cloud. And, so I'm just going to get myself to reduce that rate of descent very slightly, especially now I've slowed down as well, so the relative descent rate is now quicker as well. Looking good so far. I'm just going to load up the Oxford's frequency for the tower, so that's in there. The ground is down there as well. 4,200 feet for 2,500 feet, that's looking quite nice. Coming in down there, just about to go into some cloud. So the engine IPS is on, it's 6 degrees, it's like 13 degrees on the ground, and or 12 degrees on the ground, and 10 kilometers visibility, cloud about broken at 500 feet. So it shouldn't get any ice. The comms are set, approach is loaded and activated by the magenta line on the screen there, that's where I'm heading to. 563 is my minimas, which are set. I'm on the heading, doing 180 knots, and the magenta bug as well is in the background there, is also the same as what I've done. So what I'll do is I'll click that into FMS mode on the auto throttle, and it will maintain 180, which means when I lower my flaps it will come back to 140. In the cloud. I'm glad of this actually, because I had quite a lot of TKS fluid on the aeroplane earlier.
Altitude 1,800 feet.
Descend 1,800 feet, November 6 Papa Mike. 1,800 feet, selected, seen, doing. It's great. Yeah, I was just saying, I'm glad there's sort of quite a lot of water coming over the airframe now, because I used a lot of de-icing fluid in Iceland to de-ice the aircraft, so it's good to get some water over the aeroplane and get rid of some of that fluid, especially the fluid that's on the windscreen. Okay, there's a Bing 200 feet to go to 1,800 feet. Got India Oscar X-Ray Foxtrot, the Morse code identifier down there, getting a little bit bumpy now as well. Just levelling off here now at 1,800 feet on 983, so just confirm that's correct.
And the 6 Papa Mike, turn right heading 160 degrees, clear ILS approach, runway 19.
Right, under 160 degrees, clear for the ILS 19, November 6 Papa Mike. So 180 degrees set on the heading, the aircraft is turning, time to push the approach button. That arms the localizer and the glide path. A few little bumps around. Still in the cloud, expecting to break out at probably 1,000 feet or so, maybe 1,100 feet with that cloud base. There's the glide slope on the path indicators. There's my localizer, dotted line showing me my intercept, so that's coming around, expecting the localizer to take over, which it is now. And there's nothing behind me, so I'm in no major rush, and the aircraft is bumping around a little bit, so I'm going to select my first stage of flap. Bubble roll comes up at 190. Aircraft sets itself at 140 knots, and it starts slowing down. I'll sink my heading bug. Chart up on here. 2,500 feet is my missed approach altitude, so I'm going to load up 2,500 feet. The aircraft will stay there because it's on altitude hold at 1,800. November 6 Papa Mike, localizer established.
6 Papa Mike, 6.5 miles, contact Oxford Tower 133, decimal 430, good afternoon.
133, 430, 6 Papa Mike, bye-bye. Fantastic. Glide slope is coming down. I'm going to put the gear down in the same place as I did last time. Oxford Tower, hello, November 806 Papa Mike, established 6 miles.
Number 806 Papa Mike, Oxford Tower, hello. Runway 19, surface wind estimated to be southerly 10 knots, cleared to land.
19, clear to land, November 6 Papa Mike. Okay, they're just below half scale deflection on the glide, so the gear's going to the down position as it does always. Waiting for the greens. 1, 2, 3 greens, no reds. Glide slope intercepted. Aircraft going down, doing 140 knots. And again, there's nothing behind me, so I'm in no major rush. Got 4 miles to go. Going to go full flap. Bubble pole comes up at 150. FMS slows the plane down to 95. Power's coming off, starting to break out. A little dusting of snow here, not as much as further north. Aircraft's going down. Flaps are set, airspeed is coming back now, landing gear is down and locked, flaps are as required, cabin pressure is reading nearly 0, and windshield IPS is off. Autopilot will go off shortly. And there's the runway just coming out of the murk. Aircraft settling itself down. Amazing, lots of aircraft being diverted around Manchester, Liverpool, Bristol. But we're not too bad here as we're coming in towards Oxford. There's the runway. All checks are complete. Okay, I'm going to keep it going, disconnect the autopilot shortly, and I'll speak to you on the ground because it's a little bit bumpy. I couldn't really sort out the camera for my landing here, but on the ground nice and safely at Oxford, just vacating left, and they're going to taxi round to the main apron where I'll shut down and be done for the day. So all shut down at Oxford, and they're going to have a few days rest before take the aircraft to Australia, which the first leg down will be into Croatia. But the aircraft's going to go in tomorrow. I'm going to take it in tomorrow for a little bit of maintenance, a 100-hour check before we continue on down towards Australia. So yeah, all done for the day. Going to put the aircraft to bed, put the plugs in, and go home.